Alright, so the thing from the 27th, number 3, to keep working on. So start with just that right at the 175. I want you to just push yourself to be able to start right at 175. So when it gets you to that point where you don't even need to warm up, you can at least do short bursts with the 175. So that's kind of where I want you at. So if you don't get through this whole thing at 175 right away, fine, that's okay. Just get to where you can. So what I don't want you to do is to slow it down and then try and build all of it up. Stay at the 175. Get used to the 175. Get your ears used to the 175. So once you do that at the 175, now you can, there's a couple ways. And for the beginning, you could probably add a full mode shape at a time. So you do the first mode shape, partial mode shape, whatever. Basically, like the first 4 bars, right? And then you add another 4 bars, so you into the next position, and then you add the next position. Well, eventually it might start getting too difficult to add an entire new position. So let's say you're building up, and when you get to the C note, well, here it's just way too difficult to add all of that. Well, instead of trying to force all of that when you get there, and again, this is just hypothetical, it's like just an example thing. I'm not saying you're going to do this. I'm not saying you can't get past that part. You might. Anyway, as an example, so let's say you do get to this, or wherever you get, and it's too difficult to add the entire thing right away. Well, then add a bar at a time. So you play all the stuff from before, then you add a bar. Once you get that, then you go to this bar and then work on getting that. So you just add, so start by adding 1 full position at a time. In other words, add 4 bars at a time. When that becomes too challenging, then add maybe 2 bars at a time. And if that's still too challenging, then start to add only the 1 bar at a time. Number 1 from yesterday. If you need to, add in the 8th note subdivision to help you hear this better. Okay, so let's demo this guy. I'm doing it without the 8th note subdivision. Da, 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 da. You can do something like that to help you hear it before you start playing. So 1, 2, da 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 da. Here's 80. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hopefully you get. There's another thing you do. Just like pick the 8th notes, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, because you are doing that the whole time, like. So try that. That might be helpful. So here's at 100. I'll kind of start that way. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. $120. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that being said, if you end up doing something like that, if you add that extra little note in because that helps you stay in time, do it. That's totally fine. The most important thing with this stuff is getting the pull-offs and the hammer-offs to sound good. Let's go to 140 next. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more to 160. Let's see how this goes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was terrible. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's tough. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a tough speed to get everything in nice and clean. The next thing here. Yeah, so this, no metronome with it, just go. Just work your way down, work your way back up. Just go whatever pace feels good to you. I'll run through the whole thing here and just kind of show like how I end up fatiguing throughout the whole thing. Was that enough? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. God damn, I really started sucking at the end there. Yeah, don't forget to breathe. Sometimes it's easy to like hold your breath because you're like concentrating so hard that you actually forget to breathe. Try to remember breathing during that. That'll help, get oxygen into that forearm and help you play it all. So maybe like 2-3 times a day with that. That'd be good, I think. Don't want to overkill it. Don't want you to have any other repetitive strain injuries. Alright, so this stuff here, not a big deal in working things up to speed. But for speed-based stuff, I want you to focus on the that stuff, along with the. So with this, what I'd like you to do, label everything first. So add in the chord name, add in the arpeggio, or the chord name of the arpeggio and the Roman numeral that goes along with it. I forgot to put a note up there on that. Whoops. At least, yeah. So once you do that, it'll be, I think, easier to learn these arpeggios because then you're visually seeing the name and the Roman numeral that represents what you're doing. So this way, it'll be easier to recall these things as you go through it. So I have no idea how well I'm going to do this. I'm going to do my best to demo everything at the 60 beats a minute. If you find that playing triplets is too much of a pain in the butt at first, do eighth notes. So you know what? I'm going to make this easy on myself. I'll do eighth notes and then triplets so I can better demonstrate what I'm talking about. Okay, so here it is at 60, eighth note version, and I'll do it again at the triplet version. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. As soon as I switch over to the triplet, I'm automatically going down, up, down, up, down, up. So doing it that way, I mean, technically, if you think about it, like, it would make sense to just do down, down, hammer, down, down, hammer. But I do find I can keep better timing that way. So, in terms of sweep picking, yeah, it would make sense to do nothing but downstrokes. You can get just about as fast doing it that way. So, you know what? Let's practice it all downstrokes. One more time, demonstrating it that way. Do as many downstrokes as we can. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, next one. Things will be a little bit different here because now you're like picking twice on one string here. So let's do the eighth note version and then the triplet again. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is not eighth notes, is it? Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. I apologize. I'm having an off day. Good Lord. One, two. Hopefully I get it. Triplet time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. For third progression, we'll review it first. Alright, eighth notes. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4. It will help having these memorized when you learn them, or when you practice doing it with the metronome like that. I don't have these memorized, so I'm like, I look back and forth, I'm like, oh god. Anyway, so let me review this one real quick. So we got alright, eighth notes first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So, hopefully, the mistakes maybe gave you a little bit of a laugh. Yeah, I make mistakes plenty. So, if any questions come up, please let me know, and I'll see you again next week.